the Boost site on the portal. There's a list of all of the topics. In addition, it says here response to expressions. All the expressions. I repeat, all the expressions. I repeat, all the expressions. Expression that will appear on this test is listed on the Boost site.
I want to excuse me, but I see a note. A meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
the room is only available for 500 people. We're now streaming live on YouTube as well.
Okay.
But we can't. No one can see you on YouTube. All we can see is Ronela and the presentation.
I apologize.
No worries. It's just if you want to share that link with your friends, it's fine.
It's good, and you qualified it for everybody, so that's good. Okay. Anyways, back to this. So there's no surprises on this test. There's a list of the expressions for the kids to learn and the responses. We can practice them in speech, and then they'll be able to do it successfully. All of these expressions are very useful expressions for life. Remember, English, believe it or not, is a really good tool for life. Like, it makes a difference if you can ask a question or get an answer and understand what people are saying to you. The final task is spoken production, also just like talking about themselves, where there's a story that appears in four or five illustrated pictures. And they don't have to say, once upon a time, a long time ago, in a land far across the seas, there lived a little elf. No, they can one sentence or two about each picture, thus creating the story. All the vocabulary is A1 and core 1 of A2. That's it. Band 1, all the words in band 1, and the words in band 2 that are in band 2, core 1. All right? Vocabulary. You can find all the material here. This PowerPoint will be available. All the material is here on the Boost rubrics, and on the under COBE oral exam, all the information is there. The list of the vocabulary, the words for them to learn, and the possible topics that will appear on the test. There's a regular version and there's a Haredi version, so that the pictures are appropriate. So if you work in a school and you're concerned about what the pictures might have to offer, you can choose the Haredi version. I remind everybody that 3 points can only be completed in 12th grade. So if you have a group of students that are doing, you're doing 3 points with them, and then you're going to do 4 points, don't make this be the decision-making test. They've done A, they did B with the literature, they did C, and now you want to move them up to 4 points. Give them the opportunity of doing 4 points. If you see that they didn't manage, then they can go back and close their 3 points at the end. Don't wait till the middle of 12th grade to finish the 3 points. You won't have time to do all the rest that you have to do to finish the 4. I want to say one thing about special populations, because these are questions that come up again and again and again and again and again. Special populations, so first of all, the F7 kids, the kids who are known as Chinuch Miyuchad, Shema students, levels, all the levels have the right to be tested face-to-face. Levels B and C, Bet and Gimel, don't have to do the oral exam. We find that it's a good thing for them to do if they can, because it's an additional grade. There are students who stutter, who have psychiatric issues, who have high anxiety issues, who have different kinds of speech impediments and things like that, who really cannot be tested on a computer very easily, or even not so very easily. We can apply.
No, I just wanted to say that it's also for pupils who are hearing impaired.
I just said that.
Okay.
That's what I said, Shema students.
Keep going, keep going.
So the students like this who need additional help, in other words, they can't do the exam on the computer, the school applies with a letter signed by the guidance counselor or the principal, explaining to the Ministry of Education what the issue is. And that letter must be accompanied by a diagnosis or a letter from the medical professional or the speech therapist who treats this kind of issue, whatever it is. And that letter has to explain what the students' issues are and challenges. All of that is uploaded on the Ma'arechet Bchinot Bagrut Chadasha. It's a new Ma'arechet. All your Bagrut coordinators know about it, and you just upload it onto Charigim. The Moed is open. It opened 2 days ago, and therefore you can start doing this now for the winter Moed. We only apply for these kinds of accommodations in the Moed that they will be tested. Don't do it if it's for the summer. If it's for the winter, now's the time. One more thing I want to say before I go off, flying off to the middle of wherever, like my living room, and that is that this winter, students are still eligible to take the face-to-face oral exam for 3-pointers as we have known it until now. They are still eligible. But as Tziona said, give them a chance to prove to themselves and to you that they're capable of doing the test this way. All the kids that took the exam this way in the summer passed with more than flying colors. They were above and beyond expectation. Listening to them brought joy to our eyes and to our hearts. So I'm wishing everybody a happy new beginning of a school year. We're already deep into September and we feel like it's February. Everybody, I wish you all a lovely, lovely evening and thank you for everything. Bye-bye,
Thank
Shana
you.
Tova.
Thank you very much, Ronela. And
Excuse me, Howie, how can I want to get in from my computer. How can I get to the YouTube?
you can, the YouTube,
stream?
once you go in, I'm sending messages to the waiting list all the time, and you'll get the link. But you can click on the link, it's in the chat.
Tried to, but I didn't get any link. I
No, you-
clicked on the,
I'll do it again. I'm just
Sorry.
reminding you that everything will be posted and given to you. It'll all be on the portal and you'll get access to everything. Let me
Even
just-
the presentation,
Everything, the presentations, yeah. Okay, so let me just copy this one more time so that I can just put it here for you, the link to the YouTube for all the people in the waiting room. I'm really sorry about that, a little technical glitch.
I can't get
but you-
into the waiting room. It just says that it's full and
I
try
know,
again
so that's
later.
why I'm sending you the link to the YouTube. You'll see exactly the same thing on the YouTube.
Where did I
Maybe
get
once,
it?
just send it to the waiting room now.
I'm not in the waiting room. I can't get in.
So I'm going to send it. You don't want to get into the waiting, then I'll send it to you here in this link. You can go to it from here.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. Okay, so we're still live on YouTube, coming to you straight from Google, and we're moving on to Simone. Simone, I think that's the way we're going. Yes,
Yes,
Simone,
yes.
take it away, the literature. Let me
Thank
just take
Okay,
Arona.
welcome everybody. Thank you for attending. So I'm going to talk about playing with creative texts in junior high, and I'm going to talk about teaching literary texts in high school. And for me, literature and creative texts are a present for our students and something that we should be doing from elementary school. And before I spoke about that with the teachers. And so in junior high, we should definitely be doing as many creative texts as we can do. So in this presentation, the first thing that I'm giving you, and the other thing is that I wanted to, the reason I had pictures of a present is because I'm giving you lots of presents in this presentation that you will have with you long gone, long time after I'm gone. So basically, there's a bookmark here. It's a Canva, and in this bookmark, there's a link to the bookmark. You'll get the presentation, don't worry. And in this bookmark, you've got the unit planner template, an overview of the template of the unit. You've got the curriculum can-do descriptors for literature. You've got mediation, generic questions for summative assessments, rubrics, and example units, okay? So this is a nice thing to have on your bookmarks on your computer. And then if you need something, you just go straight into this bookmark and it links you directly into the document that you need. Okay, so that's the first present I am giving you today. The next present I'm giving you is an example of a planning template for the poem Dreams. It's a 3-point poem. It's a good thing to do with your staff, with the teachers that you work with. This year is a transition year. In other words, this is the time to try all of this out. Of course, if you don't know about the curriculum, this is also the year to go and do a curriculum course, okay? Because next year, all of this is going to be mandatory, all right? So this is the time to play. Because it's transition, you're not expected to do everything. It will be nice if you can, but you don't have to. You can do just the summative assessments. You can teach just one unit, whatever you want. But try it out and play with it. Okay, so here's a template that you can work through with your as a staff together, and it's a great way to jump into the program. Another present I'm giving you is we have uploaded to the portal creative examples of units for creative text for junior high. So if you want to start working with creative text in junior high, you've got, let me go back. Here we go, that's the link to it. So you've got a link to it, that's my next present. So 1 second, let me go back in. Right. You've got here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 examples of units for junior high. Okay. The next present I'm giving you is example units for high school, and there will be more. So I'm sure you're excited by that. At the moment, there are 4 units up there with the previous 2 that we've already put up. So there are now 6 units on the portal. You will get another 4 units. Okay, so lots and lots of things to help you and guide you, and use these as examples to see different ways to work according to the program. You'll see there are slight differences between the units because these were prepared by teachers. So the teachers, each teacher is a little bit different. Each class is a little bit different. You can take these units and you can adapt them to your own classes. You don't have to use them as is, or you can try them out as is and then see for next year how you want to adapt them to your own context. So lots and lots of presents. Now we're going back to what is literature according to the curriculum mindset. We talked about aligning the literature to the curriculum, and that's what we did last year. And just to remind you, what does that mean, the curriculum mindset? So firstly, we work according to units. We don't work according to individual lessons. And we plan according to units. And we do backward planning. In other words, we decide what is our final task, and then we work backwards from that to make sure that the students have all the things that they need to say that they can do the final task. Which vocabulary do the students need? Which grammatical structures do they need? And of course, you've got rubrics to help you assess those things. Also, in a unit, there should be all of the 4 language activities. There should be reception, production, interaction, and mediation. So that when we teach vocabulary, the students they do receptive vocabulary, and then they have to produce the vocabulary. So this vocabulary repeats throughout the unit, and then when the students have to produce something at the end, they have the vocabulary that they need to produce it. Okay, so it's very important that when we look at units, we make sure we include all of the language activities. The next thing is that the can-do descriptors are our objectives and the assessment tasks. So what does that mean? That means when I decide that spoken reception is to listen to some kind of clip, then I'm also going to afterwards try and assess that my students have actually understood what they saw in the clip. Someone's talking. And the same thing
anymore.
of course, with written production. If that's going to be my objective, then I'm also going to want to assess that at the end with my summative task, my post-reading or my bridging, okay? And of mediation, of course, we talk about personal response and analysis. That's going to be in my summative assessment, my test, all right? And those things haven't changed. There's still for the log 2 summative assessments. There's still 6 post-reading tasks for high school. All of that still is the same. That hasn't changed, okay? So let's now talk about junior high. And when we talk about junior high, we talk about creative texts. And what does that mean, creative texts? So firstly, they have to be playful, right? So when we use language, we have to use it in a playful, fun way. It also requires that the students respond to the text in a fun and playful way. The other thing that's important is that the students are emotionally involved with the piece. They interact with the piece. And we encourage creative and critical thinking with the piece. All right, so that's very important. That's, of course, Professor Spolsky. So when we talk about creative texts in junior high, we are not just talking about poems and short stories and novels. We're talking about debating and poetry slams and playback theatre, anything that's fun and inciting and demands a playful response from our students. We want them to play with the language. They can make up Jabberwocky, made up language. Why not get them to make up their own English language? And just to have fun with it. So when we talk about creative texts in junior high, we want them to read text, but we also want them to write their own text. We want them to write their own stories. We want them to write their own poems, and we can give them the structure that they can write the poem, and think how proud they can be when they write their own haiku or cinquain. And that is giving them the joy and the possibility to play with the language. So here's an example. This is a response. I'm using a creative text here as a response to a theme, to an informative text. So here, we're talking about the students writing their own creative text based on the vocabulary that they learned from an informative text. So, of course, I took a very meaningful and relevant topic. I took the topic of climate change, and I want my students to talk about, we want to have a debate. Is it the greatest threat facing humanity today? And I prepare a unit, and you can see where the creative text comes in. It comes in at the end. Write a poem or haiku or a cinquain to the theme of climate change. So here at the end of my unit in the book or wherever, I am using all the things that they learned, and their personal response is a creative response. Okay. Another example, and this is on the site, the portal is, of course, we love Shel Silverstein, The Giving Tree. There's a really important message here as well. And here, this is a different example because this is around a creative text. So there's a unit which is using this as the main framework of my unit. Okay, so now
welcome to my fables.
Lovely. I'm not going to share this. We don't have time. I'm going on. And here's the example. Thank you, Dara and Michal. As you can see, again, all of the skills are here, as well as vocabulary acquisition. And at the end, they can actually perform the short story that it's, playback theatre. They can do whatever they want with it. They can write a letter to the tree, to the boy. imagine you are the tree in the story. So much fun. It's just a present for the kids. It's demanding that we use it and have fun in the classroom. Okay, so now we're talking about high school, which of course is Bagut. So I'm just going to really here share, this is the example of the 3-point piece. And I'm going to share some things that we learned in a course that I had with some teachers, and things that will hopefully help you. Again, here is an example of a unit. You'll get this. You can see all the skills are taught. You can see, because it's 3 points, there's only written production, but by them recording themselves reading the poem, that's the first step for them to feel comfortable speaking aloud, and hopefully it will be the impetus to encourage them to speak by themselves. Okay, and that's what we want to encourage. So in fact, I'm teaching everything within the literature. And so it doesn't take more time. It takes time away from other things. It's not just an informative text. It's a very important, fun text that the students can react and interact with. So some things that I want to emphasize, as I said, that we learnt from while we did the course, when we talk about spoken reception, which we know is listening, it's not listening comprehension. We're talking about an audio visual prompt, not a visual prompt. In other words,
Sorry, just.
Thank you. So there has to be speaking in my prompt, my listening prompt, and that makes it an audio visual prompt. If it's just a visual prompt that there's no speaking, then that's not spoken reception, because part of spoken reception is showing that the students understood what they hear. So here we can teach with just a visual prompt, we can teach vocabulary, but if we want to teach listening and them learning from the listening, then we should do it as an audio visual prompt. Okay, visual prompts are very good for vocabulary acquisition. When we talk about the introduction, not a great introduction is that, you know, that brainstorming activity that teachers do. When we talk about brainstorming at the beginning, the students don't necessarily have the language to speak. So often brainstorming becomes something in L1. That's fine, but our aim is language acquisition. Therefore, we have to make the most of every opportunity in class to encourage them to learn language. So brainstorming isn't such a great thing, especially with our students that don't have a lot of language. If it's a strong class and they have language, go for it. Brainstorming is great. But often teachers jump to brainstorming at the beginning of a unit, and it turns into a Hebrew or Arabic lesson. And that's fine. But again, it's kind of wasted time if we're talking about language acquisition. Written production is not answering comprehension questions. So answering questions about a text, which, by the way, most of the time is a waste of time, is not written production, because the students aren't producing something new, they're just showing that they've understood what they read. And therefore, they can do that in L1 as well, by the way. Next, a summative task is not the same as a summative assessment. A summative task is our post-reading or our bridging, and our summative assessment are those tests that we give at the end. A summative task doesn't have to, it can be any production task that the students do to show that they have understood and they've learned something throughout the unit, and that's the point of a summative task. A summative assessment is the students showing reader response or analysis of the piece, and that's in our mediation can-dos, okay? And of course, we said this, the summative task post-reading must be connected to the literary piece, post-reading, after reading. If it's not connected, it's not a good post-reading. Talking about a decision that they made after reading The Road Not Taken, students didn't have to understand the piece or have read the piece to be able to talk about that, okay? So it's very important that our students, when we give them a post-reading task, they're showing that they've actually read and understood the piece that they've used, that they've learned. And this is the second last one, I think. The summative assessment, according to the Align program, cannot have multiple choice and vocabulary knowledge questions, nor can it be according to the previous program, okay? If it's like that, we said transition year, if you're doing that, then that's fine. Next year, no, because it doesn't align itself with the can-do descriptors. When you ask a multiple choice question, you're not answering the can-do descriptors. A regular basic understanding question does not align itself with your objectives. So it doesn't work, okay? Have a look at the examples that we gave on the site to see exactly what we're talking about, and you'll see that you can't ask vocabulary questions. You can give a vocabulary quiz, and you should be recycling and reviewing the vocabulary throughout. And you can give extra points somewhere for that, but it shouldn't be on a summative assessment, okay? And finally, one thing we did see, which was weird, but somebody told me that they managed, to summatively assess a single poem was really hard because we couldn't get a lot of questions out of a poem that were according to the mediation can-dos. So think about that. It's probably better to, if you want to assess a poem, that's fine, but maybe do it with a short story as well. Or just don't assess the poems, because you don't have to if you're doing the log. You only have to do 2 summative assessments. So do a fun post-reading task, a creative post-reading task, which reflects the knowledge of the piece, and be done with it. You don't need to do more, okay? And remember that creative and literary texts are vehicle to language acquisition. Yes, literature is great for critical thinking strategies. It's great, and not HOTS, we don't call them HOTS. It's great for culture. It's great for literature's sake. It's great for all of those things. But if we're doing it in Arabic or Hebrew, probably not the best thing to be doing. We can do that in Hebrew or Arabic literature. Okay, so think about that if you're finding that you have to translate everything, then maybe you're not doing what you need to do. And finally, units should be meaningful and relevant, not to you, to your students. We tend to say, I love that piece. And so of course my students will. And then they are like, not fun at all. So find the way to make the pieces, and you can, every piece can be made meaningful and relevant to every student, I believe. Think of the way in to get your students to interact and to respond to the pieces, okay? So thank you very much, and I am going to close now. Thank you for listening, and if you have questions, you can ask. There are many teachers that have been working beautifully. They've been sending me what they've done, and really well done. You are getting it. You don't really need me or anyone else. There are courses, there are curriculum and literature courses, they're together. There are a few literature courses, but then it's about making pieces up or preparing units. So look out for those in the Pisgaot, okay, in the teacher centres. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. It was great. I'm going to remind you that I have said it before, we will be posting everything on the portal. We will also be posting on the, I think I'm sharing that, oh no, we'll be posting on the portal. We'll be sending emails out to people, WhatsApps. Just make sure that you're connected to some sort of connection to us. And Simone, some people are asking for your email, maybe just if you want to add that. People are saying thank you. I want to say thank you for all the gifts that you gave us. I think Chanukah and Christmas are coming way early this year with the way you started. But let's move on. So I'm coming, if we remember last year around this time, we had us back into school and no one mentioned the concept of AI. It was kind of foreign to everyone and anyone. And then suddenly around November, 17th of November, AI came into the market. And please, we have to remember that with AI comes responsibility of HI. HI is human interference or human interaction. Please remember that we are humans before anything, and we've got a responsibility to the things that we do. I'm just going to quickly create a waiting room because we've got too many people along, and that they need to be directed to the YouTube. So I'm just going to start. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you 2 different sites, and these are the 2 sites are called magicschool.ai and Twee. Now, if you may have heard of them before, I'm going to show you just how they can make your life a little bit easier. Simon spoke about rubrics. Teachers are asking for lesson plans. How can I create? Please bear in mind, when you go into Magic School I, it says that it's only updated till 2021. So please just be aware that things are still changing. So let's go, for example, to rubric generator. Let's look for the 8th grade. What will the students be able to do? Even then, it hasn't got the right, let me just take off it's not working, the waiting room. Okay, so 8th grade, the students will be able to produce.
Howie, we can't see your screen.
Oh, maybe I'll show. That's great. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me. Now I'll be big and I'll share it back. Thank you for that. So it's a magicschool.ai, and I've gone into the rubric generator. And okay, and let's say they can produce a spoken speech on road safety. If that's what they would be doing at the 8th grade. School policies, assignment title, I'm going to leave that out. Assignment description, give an oral about road safety. Now, remember that I could create this myself. I could think about it myself, but I'm going to ask for the rubric to be created for me. I'm going to generate the rubric. Let's see how quickly it does it. Oh, we need a title. Okay, road safety. I'm making mistakes on purpose, not really on purpose, but just let's see that it'll correct my mistakes. So let's go, and we see that we've got a rubric that's being created for us in a matter of seconds. Let's make it a bit smaller. So we've got the criteria for the road safety speech. They need to display content knowledge, organization, delivery, language use, and time management. Now, these are things that could have been thought up by you guys. You could have had this all, but it kind of puts it in here in front of us, black and white, and it just is quite amazing. And we can use this. Please bear in mind that that isn't the only answer. You can rehash you didn't get the right answer you want, you can rehash the rubric generator, keep going back over and over again. Okay, well, let's see of other things that we can do. We can have, for example, lesson plan generator. Okay, let's go for the 11th grade. What's a topic you'd be teaching in the 11th grade? Anyone? Hi.
Do you want me to tell you something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I guess they have to do a report usually in 11th grade. They have to do a report.
I'm talking about it. Okay, a report about a social experiment. That's fine. Additional context if I want to add. Standard set to a line. I want to go I want it to be for CEFR, and I'm going to generate what I want the kids to do. It is, and it can be for ESL, and the way I can make it for ESL is that if this is too kind of highfalutin and it's more related to the English as a first language, I can take this exact text, copy it into ChatGPT, and rewrite it in a state that I would want it. But however, this is for the teachers. This is for the teachers itself. I'm not going to give this page to the pupils. If I want a more personal approach, I can ask Raina. It's using the same AI program. The name of this is called magicschool.ai. It's based on OpenAI. But once again, it's updated to 2021. I'm now taking a side step. Hang on, before I do that, there's another one that I like to do, and that is create a song about a colleague. I'm still trying to get this to work as best as it could. Let me just find it. Okay, here we go, colleague song generator. I'm going to write about the English teacher. And we'll write that, we'll make it a he. He is smart. He is tall. He is diligent. He gives homework. The perfect English teacher. Obviously, I could write anything. I'm going to do it to the tune of Cats in the Cradle. The Cradle. And let's see what it does for me. Okay, there's a colleague we adore. His name's English teacher. He's got brains that could fill a whole lecture with a height that stands so tall. He's a sight to see.
That's amazing.
When it comes to teaching, he's the one you need. English teacher, you're the best of them all. You're smart, you're diligent, we're having a ball. You give us homework, but we know I'm going totally out of tune. We're grateful for you, just like we should. Okay, I'm still waiting to get the exact kind of thing, but it's there. Even if it doesn't follow the Cats in the Cradle, it does give you a brilliant song. Try it out at the end of the year. Pretend that you know how to write songs for your teacher, or not pretend. It'll do it for you. But this is quite phenomenal. I think within time, it'll really get better and better. Copy this, go straight to your printer, print it out and say, look what I prepared for you on the last day of school. Okay, let's move on to Twee. Now, my late dad would say, there's nothing free ever in the world. And I would say to him, Dad, you can go to the garage, the Musach, and get air for free. And say, well, you'd have to buy other things as well. But these two tools are completely free. So let's look at Twee. Well, right now they are free. So let's go into YouTube, and I'm going to look for Cats in the Cradle.
Ugly
One of my
picture.
favorite songs. Okay, by Harry Chapin, and we've got the song here. If you don't know it, it's a great song to do with your. I'm going to answer that, Ariel, in a second. So let's go back to Twee, and I've got here, for example, create questions from a YouTube video. So let's click over here, and I click on the link. It loads up Cats in the Cradle. It's less than 5 minutes, so that's great. I can ask multiple choice questions about the song. It's Twee, T-W-E-E. Let's do the magic. What isn't the previous one is Magic School. What isn't impressive is what it does. The impressive thing is how long it takes and what it does. Okay, so let's go and see. So here it goes, listening to 5 times the normal speed, wait around a little. This is taking a bit longer. Maybe it's because it's high school, who knows, but it's creating all sorts of funny words and things. Oh, I've gone over time. So here we go. How does the son feel about his father at the beginning of the song? So here we go. What is the video content about? Father's relationship with his son. How does the son feel about his father in the beginning of the song? And so on. It's just quite amazing. Some of the answers may not be correct. So you've got to go through this and check. But look at this at the end. You've got the answers. And you've got the option to save as a PDF. And we all know what we can do with a PDF. We can, if you really want to, you can send it to the photocopy machine and print it, or you can put it up in Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, and your kids have got it. But it goes even further. You can have the video transcript. Okay, do the magic, and I'm getting the video transcript. My child arrived just the other day, and here's the song with all the words. But I'm not stopping there. Look what I can do. Fill in the gap. I can create a close, choose the words that I want to kick out. I'm just going to kick out a few. Obviously, I would think about this before I do this, and we do the magic. And within seconds, you've got your close with the words at the top. And then you save as a PDF, give it to your pupils, and they're ready to go. You can take a text that's from a song. Please remember, copyright. Remember to make sure that you have all the issues of copyright, that you don't copy something and say, I wrote the song or whatever. The final thing that I want to show you is with regards to speaking. We've got here 4 opinions. Let's talk in high school about writing poetry. Okay, what do we think about writing poetry? Do the magic? And we've got 4 different responses. John says, I think writing poetry is a great form of self-expression. Sarah says, I don't really see the point. Emma says, I'm kind of on the fence. And Mark is writing poetry is one of the most beautiful things. Send the pupils home the day before, give them their text, come back, you do a whole court case in the class. You have a judge, you have the lawyers, you have everything with whatever topic you want to use. Guys, my last thing to say is that these 2 tools that I showed you are habitual, meaning say goodbye to your spouses. You won't be seeing them for a little bit, but it will save you a lot of time. Please remember, don't create and give. Just always check things, and it's really amazing. The final thing that I want to say is that these things are happening fast and quick, and it's just quite phenomenal how many things are changing. I'm going to ask you to choose 1 or 2 things. Work with them. These 2 are free. There are quite a few tools in Geffen that cost money, some nice things. Unfortunately, can't mention names, but just the stuff's out there, and it's just it's changing just every day, if not hourly. So I thank you for the time, and I thank you for listening to me rant and rave and everything. I've got 2 I've got 2 the presentations which will be shared with you. With regards to pupils going out there and using AI, they're going to do it. It's out there. But what we have to make sure is that they're not going out there and using AI and presenting it to you. What is their what is their humane response to AI? In other words, if AI creates something, ChatGPT creates something, let's go to Bard. What does Bard create? Let's compare them. Let's ask questions. The kids answer the questions in front of you, verbally, written. We've got to beat ChatGPT is there. We're not going to fight it. And to deny them the fact to use it, I think that's a problem. But that's a discussion for a whole Hishtalmut and not just this course. So what I'm going to do is welcome our next speaker. When I find the list, I'm going to tell you. Ellen is
I'm here.
Are you here? Excellent.
I'm here.
You're here. I'm going to just replace the spotlight, and I'm going to stop sharing I have to say what I'm doing, otherwise I'll forget. And I'm going to share your page when I find it.
Yes, thank you. Shall I start?
You can start introducing yourself and so on, and then.
Okay. My name's
Ellen
Marciano, and I apologize for talking to you from a remote location. We're on a school CU in Sfat, so I found a quiet spot. Hopefully it'll stay quiet. And my main job is the counselor for the oral Bagut, for the COBE, and now also for the Boost. But my hat that I'm wearing today is to talk to you about an amazing resource that is also going to be a program available through Kol Koreh. You'll get information about Keep Talking. This is, wow, it's hard to see on my phone. I'm enlarging it.
I am sharing the screen.
I know, I see you're sharing. It's just on my phone, it's smaller, but I can see it. So Keep Talking, again, it's the budget is coming from the ministry. It's free. Anyone who wants to can sign up. But as I'll show you in a bit, the website that was created to support this program is available to everyone. Anyone can use it, and I'll show you how to get to it and the materials that are there for you to use. So the program that is through Kol Koreh, the hours come from the ministry, 30 hours per class. That's so for Yud Aleph and Yud Bet for signing up for the program. And what you get is the resources, which are, of course, available to anyone, but also guidance and workshops from me and support from me. You can structure your hours however you like. You'll have until around Pesach to finish 30 hours. and you can fit them into your schedule in an hour a week per class, or you can do marathons, whatever works for you. So it's very flexible in terms of how you actually make use of the hours. And the support will come from webinars, which will be for all the schools that sign up for the program. Also face-to-face meetings, smaller cluster meetings, and I'm always available for personal support for anyone who needs it at any time. We can move to the next slide.
I did.
Okay, thank you. So I wanted to show you, of course, I'm in a parking lot where there's cars here. The Keep Talking website, can you open that link and I'll show
It
you what's
is.
there?
Open the website, sure.
If you click on where it says the KT website,
yeah.
you should just open
Got
the
it.
link. And then you might have to share it separately.
I have. No, it's being shown.
No, it's not. The slideshow is being. You have to
Okay,
reshare the website.
Okay, I'm going to reshare.
So I'll show you what's in there.
Okay.
I apologize for the background noise here.
We can't hear it.
Okay, good. Okay, so this resource was originally created by Jane Cohen and Jennifer Huisman, and I have just added on to it and organized it so that you can also get advice and support and guidance on how to actually use the site and the materials to teach speaking in your classroom, which is the point. The idea is, the reason this is being offered is because we want students and teachers to give special time for speaking. And it doesn't mean that speaking should just be once a week. I mean, we have speaking activities in all of our classes, but there's an incentive to actually give more emphasis on speaking activities in class. So in this site, if you just look there on the side where the menu is, you'll see that there are all types of things that you can get to, from planning your program, gives you all kinds of guidance and tips about how to organize your time. Then you have under where it says Begroet, explanations about the Cove and the Boost. You have picture prompts with explanations about how to use them to encourage speaking in the classroom. Yeah, you can go ahead and open that, Howie, maybe just to show them basically what it looks like. So these are the picture prompts. And there's some explanations here. Slide down just a little bit. You'll see on the side where you see a little arrow on the right side. Go back up a bit. Howie, where it says go back up a bit. No, on that page, you'll see there's a title, and on the side, there's like a little arrow, a little down arrow on the right side. Under the picture.
Suggested, right.
Under the picture, go down a bit more. Okay, you see where it says suggested procedure? Then there's a little arrow on the side. If you click on that, it opens up more details so it doesn't clutter up the page.
I did that.
But you can get a lot more guidance if you need it. It's up to you. So aside from that, you have all the picture prompts. So many of them are outside sites, so you have to go in and check very carefully what you want to use. You might find things that are more or less appropriate for your classes. Then along with that, you have written prompts. We don't have to show you everything. You can go in. I really highly recommend that you go in and just explore and see what's there. Aside from these resources, you also have downloadable resources like board games and activities, links to websites and the EFL sites that give you suggestions for topics, everything nicely organized in this one place. And on the bottom, you'll see you have also the Penny Orr Guide to Speaking, another amazing resource, which you can also find on the portal as well. You have approved workbooks that many of the schools already have them. They were distributed many years ago. So they could just be, these 3 books are approved books. If you want a more structured approach, you can hand these out to your students or you can use them yourself. And they break down the speaking sessions into units that are on all different topics. So if you like more structure and activities, you have these books available. Many of them are already at your schools. If not, you can order them from the publishers. And so that's the Keep Talking website. So as I said, once you sign up for the program, I will give you workshops, show you more details, how to use the site, how to use the materials in the site. And I'm always available anyhow for anybody who wants to talk to me about these types of things. So that is basically the Keep Talking program. And
Okay, that's a little bit about you now. Oh, did we lose you?
that's it.
Oh.
Yes, it can be used. The Keep Talking, you can use this resource. It's free for anybody, so you can use it for any classroom. The program, the hours are for Yud Aleph and Yud Bet, as far as I know, unless that's changed this year. It's Yud Aleph and Yud Bet, the students that are preparing for Bagut. But you can use them in any of your classes. You can use them in junior high school classes. But the hours go to Yud Aleph and Yud Bet.
And a lot of people are asking where they sign up. Where is the Kol Koreh?
The letter's supposed to go out. I keep hearing that the letter is supposed to go out by the end of this week. A letter will go out to the schools and the principals, and then you'll be hearing about it from your schools, and there'll be pop-ups in all of your groups, so you'll know, and there'll be a way to register for the program. All the details will be there. There'll be a link, a registration link. Everything will be organized, and you will hear about it as soon as it's available.
Is it relevant if we only have an 11th grade and not a 12th grade yet?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
And
okay,
speaking.
Ellen, your slide about
Is there
webinars.
Is there a minimum number of students who would
No.
have to participate in the program?
No, no, the funding goes per class, per teacher. So every teacher with a class can have the 30 hours.
Okay, Ellen, any other slides that you want me to show? We're not
Somebody
taking
asked about-
questions.
Yeah, somebody
Oh, we
asked
are.
about Let's Talk, which is officially, which is meant to be a junior high school program, but also that website has nothing to do with the Keep Talking program in terms of the hours. But the website and program for Let's Talk also has many resources that are very, very appropriate for our 3-pointers and our struggling 4-pointers. Even though it's meant for junior high, so you have to check for things that are appropriate by maturity level, but the level of the language is very, very appropriate, and I highly recommend you take a look at the Let's Talk program as well.
Okay, Ellen, final comments, final words?
Final words is I hope that whether you sign up for the program or not, that you will really take the time to work with your students from the earliest possible stages on speaking, through games, through activities that are fun and interesting, and let them build up their confidence, because then by the 12th grade, you won't have so much work to do in preparing them for an exam that's not an easy exam. But hopefully by then you can focus more on the technicalities and fine tuning, and not be starting in 12th grade teaching students how to speak. So that is the point of all of these programs and all of these materials, these wonderful materials that are available for you to use, so that you can make your speaking activities interesting and engaging for the students, so that they'll want to speak.
Amazing, Ellen. Thank you so much. Highly appreciative
Thank
of you
you
that you
all.
are
Again, I
calling from
apologize for
Tzfat
the
on the
remote
road.
connection.
But
I'm
that's quite phenomenal.
Gladly, the Wi-Fi worked, everything was fine, so
It was
I'm very
fine. Thank you
happy.
very much. You've got a few people that are clapping, and we're going straight into Gail with 2 more speakers, Gail and then Judy Siegel. Gail, take it away. Let me just make you pinned. Spotlight, go for it.
Oh, wow. I'm in the spotlight. Okay. Hi, everybody. And it's really nice to see faces, not like in the last webinar. My mouse has disappeared. Wow. I'm sorry. This is just...
You want me to share it for you?
No, I've got it back. It's okay.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, so what am I going to talk to you about today? I'm going to tell you about an exciting new AI project for 10th and 11th graders, and new courses in Dig Into Digital for junior high. And then I'm going to tell you about the Moodle upgrades and some general information about Dig Into Digital. So this project, I left it here so that you know we're doing a pilot project. Something like 50 schools have applied. We're in the process of choosing them, but we're closed. So you'll be hearing about it. Hopefully we'll get some insights and you'll be able to work on it the following year, or if we find that there are tools that we can share, we will let you know. For the junior high school teachers and also the high school teachers who are interested, because you can use them as well, especially in your 10th grade, we've got 2 new courses coming up. One is about climate and climate change, and the other one is English for High Tech. I'll explain a little bit about both of them. English for High Tech has at the moment 8 lessons that hopefully after Sukkot or very soon after will be released. They were produced by the team who's been working in general with English for High Tech, Maha and Raz, and they've done amazing work. These are the 8 different units that are integrating high tech together with learning English and vocabulary and performance tasks. And each unit has an introduction, vocabulary work, reading, a specific focus on the high tech skill, practicing the 2 integrated together, which is usually a performance task with a grading rubric, and then summing up and what's next. Here's an example of one of the performance tasks where after they read and learned about robot waiters, they need to prepare a presentation and write about it with very specific guidelines, what's in each slide that they produce, and the teachers have an online rubric to make the grading very easy for them. The It's Our Climate has 5 units, and it's clearly content integrated. Sorry. Where they actually learn scientific tools and the vocabulary needed in order to understand them. They learn to read from graphs, focusing on the candor of extracting specific information, for example, facts and numbers. These also have performance tasks, and you can look at an example here. I can hear background noises.
Hang on, I'll deal with that.
Is somebody
People doing
else?
background noises, stop it. Okay, so I've stopped them.
Thanks. So here, for example, is where they go and check a carbon footprint for traveling, and they need to figure out what the best way to travel. This is an actual simulator. They've learned all the words. They can check a flight, for example, if they want to go from Haifa to Eilat, and they can tell it to calculate, and they get the carbon footprint, okay? The flight footprint, and if they try it out then again for a car, then they will get the car footprint, and they'll see that it's less damaging to go by car than to go on an airplane, and they can actually work these things out for themselves and practice it. And once they do that, with working in a group, they need to say what they chose, how they chose they're going to travel to anywhere in the world or in the country, and record their explanation. And again, you have the rubric where the teacher can give them their grades very, very easily while looking at the rubric, making life much easier for you as teachers. So those are the 2 courses. We will be opening Dig Into Digital courses where you will be able to focus on the content, but I will also show you where you can access them and how you can find all the information. Moodle over the summer went through quite a big upgrade. And for those of you who haven't seen it, it's pretty exciting. This is the old Moodle, and this is what it looks like now. This whole side ruler has been taken away, giving much more place on the screen for the actual content, and also making it what we call more responsive to work on cell phones and telephones and tablets in a much better way. You can see the old version. The new version says that it's 4.1. You can see that as teachers, you have the edit mode. It doesn't have your name up. It has access to the grades for your for the students, for themselves, or for the teachers, right up at the top. What you used to have on the side is now in a ruler at the top that you can click on, and it's much more accessible and much easier to use. When you click on the grades, you can get different options of what you can go into. You can open the dashboard on the side, but then you can close it back again. You can see the difference in the different activities. This is the old one on the left, the new one is on the right. The icons are a bit clearer. You also have an explanation of what it is that needs to be done inside each of the tasks. And basically, my message about the upgrades is that you should go in, take a look, and practice it, because the only way that you're going to learn is by actually working with it, which is very, very easy to do. So, on the portal, in either the junior high or the high school page, in order to get to all the explanations about Dig Into Digital, you need to look for this icon that says Dig Into Digital and click on it. Once you click on it, you get into the page on the portal, and you can see explanatory clips for yourselves, for your headmaster, if you want to explain to them about it. We have a lot of information here, presentations, what the rationale is, where to find everything, how to import a course, what to do. We have WhatsApp groups, which I'll provide you with links for very soon, a bug report form, and you can email me or Madalila anytime if you need help or advice, or you're stuck with something. We'll do our best to help you. In the how-to section, you have a lot of different things that you can look at, and there's a sandbox with links to all the courses where you can actually play with the courses, check out the content, see how everything works, decide what you'd like to use. And these are the different courses that we have available for high school for 3 points, 4 points, and 5 points. And if you take one of our in-service courses, you'll also learn how to work with them, how to adapt them, how to decide what you want to do with the materials, etc. And we have two groups, WhatsApp groups for the Dig Into Digital, if you're interested. One of them is only for announcements. Oh, I can see that people are already joining. Fantastic. This one does not have discussion on it. It's only for us to send updates and announcements. The discussion group is if you want to ask questions and discuss things with each other. So both of these are available for you, and I'm looking at my WhatsApp and seeing people joining these groups, as I did with the other WhatsApp groups earlier on, and wow, it's amazing. And that's it basically, unless there are any specific questions.
So I want to add that I just moved my mother from Windows 7 to Windows 10. I know there's a Windows 11, but there's and she's, oh, I don't know how to do this. I mean, she's also quite old. Why I'm saying that is that the new Moodle is not that different to the old Moodle, and it's very easy to get it. But as Gail said, practice makes perfect. You just need to spend a bit of time and get it. And if you go into the links that Gail gave you before, and we'll be sending you these presentations, it's very easy to add your pupils. Okay, thank you very, very much, Gail. And we're moving on to the final talker, the final speaker, which is Judy. Judy, are you here?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't put an asterisk in front of my name. Do you want me to do that?
Okay, so if you can just keep speaking, we'll find you. Let me just remove the spotlights.
Wait,
There, I got you. I got
Yeah.
you. I got you.
Yeah, right.
Okay, replace spotlight. And Judy, just tell people who you are. And
Hi, my name is
Sarah
Judy.
says hi.
I'm the English inspector for Reed, for the Minhal Chinuch Hiteshvuti. So all of you who know me, hi. And all of you who don't, it's nice to meet you. I'm going to be sharing something that I've done for a really long time now. And it's something that my teachers will probably be bored listening to me do this again. I call it a book in every bag. And one of the things that I think everyone's talking about, Oyanut Sfatit, and whether they know their own mother tongue and language. And one of the things that I really believe in is the idea of actually, let me just put this in present mode. One of the things that I think is really important is the idea of reading books, as many as possible, all the time. And, you know, you can raise your hand now if you are in the middle of a book that you're reading. I'm sure most of us are in the middle of at least one, if not more. And we are our own lifelong learners and our own lifelong readers. And we would love to instill those values and that love of reading into our students. One of the biggest questions that I hear every time I do a presentation sort of like this is, but they don't even read in their mother tongue. What do we want from them? Like, ma keta, right? And they sort of, we don't get it. And I say, really, anyone from Reed want to say what I say? I say, so what? Okay, nobody in Hebrew makes them read, but we make them read in English. And so their problem in Hebrew, and if I were in charge, maybe I would make Hebrew Lashon people read, but English must read books all the time. It's natural speech. It's proper grammar. It's fun. They can read it at their own pace. Nobody tells them that they have to finish answering the questions. It's reading for pleasure. I think the year before Corona, there was a subcommittee, one of Tziona's subcommittees in the advisory committee who created a whole book, a handbook on reading for pleasure. We didn't call it book reports anymore, and we didn't call it just extensive reading, we called it reading for pleasure. All right. And I think that that's really important when we talk about the amount of time that they should be reading, or what happens. Who remembers way back when? I'm old, so if you're a young teacher, you don't have to pay attention. But if you were a teacher with me like 25, 30 years ago, you remember that we would always convince the kids to finish reading the book because it was almost time to do a book report. Oh, don't give up on the book. Just keep going until you finish it, right? And do we do that ourselves? No, we don't, right? If we don't like a book, we stop reading it and we go and read another one. Okay, this is for pleasure, all right? And so the responses that they have should also be pleasurable, okay? They don't necessarily have to do a summary. They can do some sort of response, something about, would you like to be friends with the main character? What happened before the book began? Something that's a little bit more creative, okay? It's a response to the book. It's not a report, okay? It doesn't necessarily have to have a 0 to 100 grade on it. It's his pleasure. All right. So the pleasure is in reading and the pleasure is in finishing. So when should our students be reading? All the time. They should at least have 10 minutes at the beginning of the lesson, and they should be reading. You get yourself organized. You can sit and read as well. Read teachers. Did you write in the chat? Judy pays you to read your book for 10 minutes at the beginning of a lesson. Yes, I do. You can sit and read and model your reading. Don't just check attendance. Read. Okay, show them that you also enjoy reading. It's very important to model this. Okay, what should our students be reading? So if you pick up your hand and you look at it, there are 5 fingers. If there are more than 5 words they don't know on a page, the book is too hard for them. It's called the 5-finger rule. And if your students are looking up more than 5 words on a page, then they need to take an easier book. Don't think that they're going to look up all these words and write sentences with them and then remember them at the end. No, they're not. Okay, they're just going to get frustrated. And since this is for pleasure, I would rather lower the level of the book and have them read natural language than have them take a book that's way too hard for them and have them suffer through it. All right, so we use the 5-finger rule. Okay, book responses. If you can see how I put it here on the presentation, you'll see that they're in different colors, they're in different fonts, they're in different sizes, they're upside down, they're in different shapes, and no one response may be good for each student. Give them a choice of book responses when they're done, or maybe not for each book. Okay, maybe you're going to decide that the class is going to read a book by the 15th of November and there's going to be just a pizza party. That's it, just a pizza party. Okay, and sometimes we're going to say, no, I'd like them to respond, and here's choice in their responses. So one student might give an oral presentation and a book talk and try and convince. One might do a book trailer, which is sort of a teaser, like a movie trailer. Some students might just want to write out a letter to the main character asking the main character why he chose to do this or the other.